Groot. I am 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 Groot. Hey fellow LEGO fans, DJ Bricks here, back for another video, and today I have a review at a new LEGO Marvel Infinity Saga set. It is the I Am Groot set number 76217, recommended for building ages 10 and up, comes with 476 pieces and retails for about $55 here in America. And it is another in LEGO is now doing for the Marvel line, and here we have Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 here. So let's start deconstructing it and seeing how it stacks up. Quick look at everything you get in the set all built up. You do get the Baby Groot buildable figure. You do get the information plaque, and you do get the a nice little accessory for the figure, which is just a large brick built item of the cassette tape for the Awesome Mix. Taking a quick look at that plaque, it's pretty much a sticker. Pretty much all the pieces in this set are sticker. It's built up with a couple of pieces just to be a little info plaque. They do a really fun thing with this one though. As you can see, they have I Am Groot all over the information, so you don't actually get his height or species or anything. It's just like somebody was asking Groot about any of this, so it is pretty funny. So that is a really nice, cute inclusion. Besides the figure, you do get this brick built cassette tape with the awesome for the Awesome Mix that is seen in the film. So you do got a couple of stickers making up those decorated details there. Very nicely done there. Very nice detail. I always like seeing these large brick built everyday items out of LEGO pieces. So this is all very nicely done. You have a nice sticker tile there as well for the bottom of the cassette. You actually have a little bit of a hole where the cassette would usually go into a boom box or something. And then flipping it over to the B side of what would be the cassette tape, they actually detailed this up pretty nicely too. I was not expecting that. You have more stickers here, and you have an alternate sticker for what's on the front. You have volume 1 on the front, so B side is volume 1 of the Awesome Mix, and then you have the stickers repeated. You do have that gray tile there that sticks out just to give the detail here of this nice the reels inside the actual cassette. That actually corresponds to a real world thing on the actual cassettes, but that does stick out way farther than it should. But if you only like seeing this thing from the front, you can just take the top off here, flip it around, and then there you have volume 1 being on the A side, and then volume 2 being on the B side. So you do have that nice little I'm sure unintended feature, but it is pretty nice there. So taking a look at the main build of the set, of course it's a buildable version of Baby Groot from Guardians Volume 2. Very nicely detailed, nice usage of parts here, very fun build, I gotta say. A lot of interesting techniques just to capture all the shaping here, as well as some nice new part colors in dark tan as well as olive green there. All the decorated items you see on this thing are indeed stickers. They're all very nice. They all add a nice amount of detail. So I recommend putting them on because they just give that overall look of twisted bark and stuff. Though up here at the head, the eyes there, they are printed. They are the Captain America shield piece, and they are just printed there just to give that little thin line of iris there for Groot's eyes. Pretty much all the complex building of this thing actually goes into the head here. It's a very complex assembly in there. I was surprised. There's a lot of parts actually poured into making that head, and he fell over, baby down, but that demonstrates something we'll get into in a bit, but all the parts used there are very nice, and you do have stickers, as you can see, around the back there. So they did continue that thing on from the Iron Man figure earlier this year, where it's meant to look like a nice action figure or buildable character that you can pose from any side. So it doesn't really look that great right in there. You can see the undersides of all the studs going into here. You do have some nice nougat color down there at the bottom, for more bark looking. You nice usage of parts here. In different colors. Some of it is a bit thinly. Some of it's just barely attached, especially the leaves up here at the head. Those can easily just be knocked off if you look at it wrong. Some of the vines here are very nicely done, but they can fall out, and like this one where it's just barely clipped in. This one at the bottom of the leg here just wants to keep just falling out. But that is something to look out for. Yeah, that one just keeps wanting to not clip in entirely, just due to design. And speaking of the design of these thigh pieces, they are built identically. They're just flipped around. So that just make a little bit more of a appearance of this just being a mash of different trees and bark and stuff. So I do appreciate that. That does look very nice here as well. You have some nice facial detailing. I really like that too, how that was all achieved with all the parts there. I don't like the fact that it's constantly like a happy Groot, like he's always smiling. Like I wish that mouth was like articulated a little bit, but it does look nice. The parts they chose to use there really makes that shape look really nice, and also the Mini Cooper fender pieces being used there for his eyebrows are really nice as well. And then I forgot to point this out, but the top of the head is actually built up right in there. They didn't have to do that. They could have just easily left that pretty much bare, but they probably wanted that to look nice if you're displaying it from any angle. About the only thing that doesn't really look good on this thing is, of course, all the ball joints, the mixel ones. They are just, but they are pretty much color locked to those specific colors. It's going to look bad, but here it actually kind of works. It kind of makes it look more organic. It looks so organic, but one other thing to note, because there's a substantial amount of bulk in the head here, and we're going to get into articulation in a minute, but from this head, this thing is really top heavy. There's a lot of because there's a lot of pieces up in this head area that makes this thing really top heavy. So he just kind of wants to, just fall all over the place depending on how you pose him. So that is also not a good thing to watch have, but it's just the massive parts there, and also how they chose to do that ball joint at the neck. You have this small little ball joint here that just slots in to the base of his neck, and that really is such a small little ball joint that it doesn't fully hold up that head. So even when you're just you can turn them into a bobblehead, is what I'm saying here, is that is such a loose connection in the first place. That can easily just slide off with a little force if you're not careful with this thing. So even with that problem with the head, though, you can get a nice range of movement rolling around the head there for some nice. It only really goes not side to side. You can get to twist a little, but it doesn't really, there's not that much range of movement in that head, just because of this right back here. It kind of just, kind of, runs into itself. So there is not that much articulation with the head there, but you can get a nice amount of expression there. Both arms are at ball joints here as well, so you can get it up that far. You can get it a nice range at that shoulder joint. Pretty nice. That leaf at the top of that particular arm does clash into that there. But the other side doesn't really have that problem. So you can actually get the right arm a little bit up higher than the left. So you have some nice range of movement at the elbow joint as well as the wrist joint. You have a nice range of movement there. The one on the right side is actually hindered a little bit by the vine here going around, so you can't really, there's some hindrance to that as well. And you do have a nice ball joint at that wrist as well. You can close and articulate each of the fingers here at different points, so that is pretty nice. And the thumb one is actually on a separate joint, so you can actually wag the thumb a little bit back and forth, so you can actually get it to hold actual items. So that is pretty nice. There is no upper range there, but you do have a waist swivel down there, so you can actually rotate that 360 degrees. That is actually like the Iron Man before. It is a ball joint there, so you can only, by how this thing is built, you can only swivel. You do not get some diaphragm movement there. And then the feet at the hip area, you can get it up that far and really far back. They go farther back than they actually do go in the front, because they run into that kind of lower abdomen area, hip area. And then the ball joints at the feet don't really go forward and back too much. Again, with this one, you kind of actually hindered by the vine again, but you can't really, you can get it up that far, and running back is a little bit of a problem because it runs into parts there. And then again, on the other fit, you can go get it way back, but again, you can't get it forward that much because it starts running into the parts there. So there's a lot of hindrance in this thing, and a lot of, just with the posability, you kind of can't really get many poses out of this thing at the foot level, because it's a tree. I think they were going for like a tree design where you kind of need the roots there, but you can't really pose this thing in walking or anything. That kind of is pretty sucky if you want to play with this thing or pose it, but you can. And it is a balancing act to get this thing onto 1 foot. Again, this, yeah, you can absolutely get this thing standing on 1 foot, but like I said, it is very much a balancing act. And try getting this into like a sitting pose or something. You can get in a forward walking pose like that. Crouching is a no-go. Of course, this is working spectacularly now that I'm on camera and filming this. But again, there you go. He keeps wanting to, the mass of this head is just making this thing a lot of top heavy. So that about does it for looking at the actual build here. I don't know if I pointed this out, but this finger actually, this thumb actually has a little bit of a twig coming out of it. So that is also pretty nice that this whole thing isn't just one repetitive build, that they actually differened it up just to make it look like it's a organic living thing. So that is pretty nice. If you're wondering, he can actually hold the oversized cassette thing, but he can only really hold it in like this pose where both of his hands are kind of just cupped just to hold it. That's the only pose he'll actually hold that little accessory in. Otherwise he can't actually, you know, grip onto it. So looking at the extra parts, nothing really to stand out from the rigid main line. All you get, interestingly, is the new color for the little pin piece there. On the right here, though, however, I did get extra parts that are not supposed to be extra parts. I got an extra one of these pieces with the clip on the side there. Nougat, you're only supposed to get 2 of them. I got 3 for some reason, and I did get an extra one of the whips, apart from the actual extra piece there. And then interestingly, out of all of it, this piece, this is not even used in the set. This isn't even part of the parts inventory, so there must have been a mix-up at the factory. It happens time to time. It's more often that you're missing pieces than you get extra, but that sometimes happens when people loading the bags at the factory don't think that it got loaded enough, so they're just throwing a little bit more in just to make sure you got it. So that was pretty interesting for me. But again, all these on the left are your standard extra pieces that you should get with the set. Look at the instructions here. You got one standard booklet, staple bound. Front cover is just that newest stack that we've been seeing starting with the summer. And you do have that digital render of the front there, which always looks awful to me because it's always just hyper realized. Front of the cover just shows you that there are bags coming soon, hopefully eventually, and then it just splits the build into 3 bags. You get a stud down there showing the actual progress bar instead of anything substantial. And then build is pretty straightforward, and it does leave you at 84 pages of total building there. And then at the back here, you get a cross-sell for all the 2022 Infinity Saga sets. So we only get 3 this year, but there they all are. Then you get the parts inventory, wind thing at the back with a pirate. So taking a look at the box, it's that same size we see with over in Star Wars with the Hoth ATSTs. So it's more of a longer upward box, but it does have all the hallmarks of what we've seen for Marvel sets in recent years. You got the Infinity Saga at the top, set specs on the side with that cool little brick-built comic paneling style with all the different characters, Avengers logo in the corner there. Nice product shot of the set. Featuring that opening sequence of Guardians Volume 2. Top of the box, you actually have the actual size reference with one of the plant leaf pieces sporting it. Side of the box just has the Marvel logo, more of that comic paneling. And then back of the box, you just have another shot of a different pose for the Groot figure, as well as little dimensions of how big the actual build is, Infinity Saga. And so getting into my final thoughts for the set, build-wise, the build was actually very enjoyable. It was a lot of interesting techniques, but there are a few stability issues of just smaller parts just popping off and whatnot, and just limitations of articulation from the build itself. We'll get into articulation in a little bit. I really like the Awesome Mix cassette tape. It's a very nice novel thing to have, especially as an accessory representing this movie and whatnot. But I kind of wish that we didn't get that that some of the parts budget that was spent on that was actually taken and incorporated into the Groot model there, especially improving that neck joint, because the head is so top heavy that again I showed it's kind of turns into a bobblehead at points. So again, really appreciate the cassette. It's very nicely designed in of itself. Definitely has a camera friendly angle, but I would have rather had that parts maybe done better incorporated into Groot there. And I'm still not sold on the plaque either. That was also with the Iron Man buildable figure earlier in the year, and seeing as the Spider-Man ones that were just revealed don't have that either, I don't really see the point in just putting these in the Infinity Saga sets. Maybe they're intending these to be collector items or something, or just aimed at an older demographic. But again, this has so much just stuff that's easily knock off, like the vines, the little plant thing. So build, well, great. It's just, it could have been better. And speaking of could have been better, articulation really could have been better. Don't get me wrong, the articulation in the arms are pretty well done. There are some limitations just from design standpoints of the vine and the leaves. They kind of just limit articulation. Again, that neck joint at the head there, very weak, very weakly designed in my opinion. And then, of course, they entirely brick built the face of Groot, and that kind of makes me want to have like articulated, like at least make the mouth articulate. I do like the part usage there, but I would have liked to have seen that be able to be like swapped out or articulated or something. Maybe also the eyes or the eyebrows, but it is what it is. Articulation at the feet, pretty restricted. Overall, just restricted. You get some nice poses, but even with the posing, just because of the top heaviness of that head assembly, you can't get into much poses without it being top heavy, and it'll fall over, or the head will lean to the side and it'll fall over, and it's that head on the pretty much the body just needed to be a little bit better, just to support that head, or that head needed less parts in it to make it work. Overall, that also just hinders the articulation. So very posable, but very limited in its posing is what I'm getting at here. And then quality, the only real note I have is just the cover art for the new instructions. I will keep giving that a point. I do not like it. I do not. If you're gonna have it, just have an actual picture of the product, not a super rendered, over saturated, overcorrected version of the model. Just have an actual picture of the model. That just doesn't work for me. And then finally getting into the price, this is $55 here in America. You definitely get that money's worth. Definitely the Groot figure feels like $40 worth. That feels, especially in that head, that build, again, while having its problems, does make me feel I got my money's worth with the figure alone. And then you get the added bonus of the nice cassette, which is also a very nice build, and also really nice accessory. And you get the plaque. Definitely feels, I would say more $50. Knock $5 off that, it's probably good. But given the overinflated market that we currently live in, 55 sounds about right for all that. So yeah, I do encourage a pick of this. If you like Baby Groot, if you like the Marvel sets, this is definitely a nice display piece to pick up, and this set does get a 6 out of 10 for me. Again, problems are many, but you can probably customize it, and I hate saying that, but you can probably customize it to fix it. But this is very worth the $55 if all you're going to do is just build it and then display it. But even with the display, that head starts to droop a little bit just because of the massive parts down in the head there. So that does it for this video. Comment below, let me know what you think about the set. I always look forward to the discussion there in the comments. Smash that like button, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, all that jazz. Helps out the algorithm, helps the channel out. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video. Until next time, stack on.